Right now, watching this, you think of yourself as human. But for most of history, that word would have needed a qualifier, because we weren't alone. At various points in the last 300,000 years, there were at least 8 other human species walking this planet, hunting, building shelters, burying their dead. Some were stronger than us. Some had bigger brains. One species survived ice ages that should have finished everything. They're all gone. We're not. And the reason why is stranger and honestly more unsettling than most people realize. Let's start with who we lost. Neanderthals are the famous ones. Stocky, cold-adapted, genuinely powerful. Their average brain volume was actually slightly larger than ours. A 2013 study in PLOS I found Neanderthal hyoid bones, the small structure that enables complex speech, were structurally identical to ours. They made jewelry. They used ochre pigment. They grieved their dead. Then there was Homo heidelbergensis, possibly the ancestor of both US and Neanderthals. Homo naledi in southern Africa, with hands built for tool use. Homo luzonensis in the Philippines. The Denisovans, known almost entirely from a fingertip fragment and 2 teeth, yet genetically distinct enough to be their own species. Homo floresiensis, 3 feet tall, hunting pygmy elephants on an Indonesian island. Homo erectus, the great survivor, lasted nearly 2 million years on this planet. 2 million. We've been fully modern for perhaps 300,000. Every single one of them gone. The question isn't just what killed them. It's why we were the ones still standing when the dust cleared. For decades, the answer seemed obvious. We were smarter, better tools, superior minds. Except the archaeology doesn't fully support that. Neanderthals were crafting adhesive from birch bark tar around 200,000 years ago, a process requiring multi-step planning and temperature control. Research published in the Journal of Human Evolution found Neanderthal stone tools in certain periods were technically indistinguishable from early Homo sapiens tools found in the same region. So intelligence alone doesn't explain it. Here's what does. In 2023, a landmark study from the University of Colorado analyzing skeletal remains and settlement patterns proposed something researchers had been circling for years. Homo sapiens had one deeply unusual trait compared to every other human species. We networked, not just within our group, across groups, across vast geographic distances. Homo sapiens remains from 40,000 years ago show shell ornaments traded across 500 miles of terrain. Neanderthal trade networks, by contrast, rarely exceeded 50 miles. When climate shifted, when prey migrated, when drought hit, Neanderthals had 50 miles of allies to call on. We had continents, but there's a darker layer here, because it wasn't just cooperation that drove other species out. Paleoanthropologist Chris Stringer's work at the Natural History Museum in London points to something the fossil record makes increasingly difficult to ignore. Wherever modern humans arrive, megafauna collapsed within a few thousand years. Prey populations that had coexisted with Neanderthals for hundreds of thousands of years simply crashed after we showed up. We didn't just outcompete other human species for food. We destabilized the entire ecosystem they depended on. We were extraordinarily effective in ways that were catastrophic for everyone else. And then there's the uncomfortable genetic evidence. We didn't only compete with Neanderthals. We interbred with them. Today, most people of non-African descent carry between 1 and 4% Neanderthal DNA. Denisovan DNA persists in modern Tibetan and Melanesian populations, and some of it, researchers now believe, carries high-altitude adaptations still protecting those populations today. They're gone as distinct species, but they're not entirely gone. They're inside us, which reframes the whole story. This wasn't purely a tale of one species erasing another. It was something messier, more human. Conflict and contact, competition and absorption. We didn't just survive alongside other human species. We consumed them, genetically, ecologically, culturally. Homo erectus lasted 2 million years with patience and endurance. We've lasted 300,000 on something far more volatile. The ability to build trust with strangers, to share information across distances, to form coalitions with people who don't look like us or sound like us, held together by nothing more than a shared story. That's the thing that made us apex. Not strength, not brain size, story. And every other human species, as far as the fossil record shows, never quite cracked that. The question worth sitting with is whether the same trait that eliminated 8 cousins, that relentless expansiveness, that capacity to reshape every environment we enter, is still running in us today. We didn't outlive them because we were the best humans. We outlived them because we were the most relentlessly human.